April is Stress Awareness Month, and I think we know there's plenty of stress. So I'm going to give you some tips today to understand how stress is so important because it affects your mood, your sleep, your energy, your outlook on life. So let's get into it. I'm Dawn, your Natural Hormone Balancing Specialist, help women balance their lives by balancing their hormones. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this. Breathing. Super simple. Lay down. Try to do as much. You can do this whole thing through your nose, or you can do in through your nose and out through your mouth, depending what you want. Yoga people tend to do it through their mouth. I'm not a breathing expert. Breathe in for 4. Hold for 2. Breathe out for 8. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 2. Breathe out for 8. And you can even hold for 2 again. So 4, 2, 8, 2. 4, 2, 8, 2. So it's just a longer out breath. And what does that do? Slows the heart rate, brings blood pressure down, and makes you feel wonderful. So do that as you start your meditation. Do it in the car on your way to work. It's super simple, and it's easy, and it's going to bring stress hormones down. Okay? Meditation. Everybody talks about it. People don't even know what it is. I use guided imagery a lot. And at BeBalanced, we have a guided imagery that we take people through. You're listening to music, but you're hearing words and it's kind of directing you. You're in a forest, you're on a beach, you're thinner. It's just easier for me to focus on that than people to just crowd out all their thoughts and go into a pure meditation. It's hard. So we do that at BeBalanced with our clients, but anything on YouTube that has an HC or Hertz level will bring the brain waves from what's called a beta, which is really stimulated, which we are during the day, to an alpha, which happens usually when we watch TV or relaxing, to a theta, which is really slow, and that's where we get like insight. And that starts also when we're sleeping. And then also the last one is a delta, which is a deep brainwave sleep, very slow movement of the brain waves. And that's when you're into a deep sleep. So we want to go from this beta to this alpha, or maybe a little bit of theta in a meditation. So just laying back, putting headphones in, listening to music, let's say YouTube that has the Hertz levels, that can do it. And then what I tell people to do is focus on things they're happy about, positive. I love my kittens, gratitude. I'm so thankful for this house. I'm so thankful that I have a little money in the bank this month. Anything that you're thankful for. And try to not think about your problems for that 20 minutes. So you could just lay in zone and go into a zone. That's great. You could think about positive things and gratitude, but the main thing is not think about negative things. You can also do it as a prayer. But what I was telling people in my spirituality videos, when you're going to pray, use a contemplative prayer. So my mom's really sick, God help her. Wow, that looks like I'm pretty upset by saying it. Instead of being like, my mother is sick, I see her well, I thank God for you healing her, or healing me in the process of learning what I need to learn through the situation, because we don't always get the yeses and the answers that we want, but we always get answers. So you can do that and pray in a positive way. The other thing you can do is if you ask questions. I have this question I want to ask God or the universe. The answer could come to you during this blank time of your brain where you're just laying there. It could happen early in the morning. It could happen late at night when you're in those alpha, theta brain waves. And you can get yourself there every day. So meditation. There's something really interesting called EMDR. And it's an eye movement therapy for people that have a lot of deep stress. And it's more related to trauma from childhood. Because childhood trauma, I'm doing a lot more research on it, does affect people as adults because the front part of their brain, the rational part, can't focus as much because the right side of their brain is always overworking with emotions. Like, there's people that came in the room. Are they safe? What's happening here? Like, they're always is this person going to leave me? Is my boyfriend going to do that? Like, they're always thinking like that. Could you imagine how sad that is for people that are always, these are people that have been sexually abused. They've been abused by their parents. They didn't feel safe as a child. They had a terrible thing happen to them. This can happen in adulthood. It's worse when it happens as a child. So just remember EMDR, you can look it up, ask a therapist, that it can relieve you from some deeper trauma that can permanently go away. Because it brings it to the forefront of the mind. That's how you get rid of it. You focus on it and then you release it. And I'm not an expert in that, but I'm just saying if we could get rid of some baggage, some trash in our body, some old memory, some old trauma, and bring that up and move it out, that might help our self-esteem. And that's also going to help our subconscious level of stress. So stress is all levels. It's something that's happened today. It's something that I've been thinking about for a while. And it's stuff that happened earlier in my life. So that's really important. Then what can I do with my diet? Well, what you can do is stop overstimulating yourself, which isn't easy. So sugar, caffeine, and alcohol. Do I want you to eliminate them totally? That'd be great, but who can do that? cut down, because if you're already under a lot of stress at work and this is a really stressful time, I'm moving, I'm getting married, whatever, these things are going to act as stimulants. Would you take Adderall or cocaine when you're doing it? No, because it's too stimulatory and illegal. But I'm just saying we can't have all this extra. So try to cut down or go to green tea that has L-theanine in it. That'll calm you. But food and what you drink is really going to affect your stress levels, and it's going to affect your hormones and cause them to get out of balance, which is going to make you feel even worse. Now, when it comes to what things we can do, well, first of all, there's our different herbs. There's adaptogenic herbs that can help calm our adrenal gland and just bring us back into balance a little, because stress has caused a lot of damage. So you've heard of like ashwagandha, ginseng, they're all adaptogen herbs. And that's where a lot of these coffee substitutes, which I really like, they have lion's mane and some of these other things in them. I think mud water, there's a couple other, I can't think of their names, but they're much better than coffee. I drink Dandy Blend, and it's a brown powder. You can get it from Amazon, Dandy Blend, and you mix it up. I put a little bit of coconut milk creamer, a little bit of vanilla stevia. It tastes like a latte, iced or hot. And that's my coffee substitute, because you don't want to see me on coffee. So anyway, so I have to do that. I can't, alcohol, I fall asleep, coffee, I kill somebody or have a panic attack. So I've had to learn these things. So there are some of the things you can do with food, but the herbs are really important, and they can really help calm the body. Now, the other thing to do is put a little bit of progesterone back in your system. So this is where BeBalanced comes in my methodology. So we also teach a lot of things you can do with MCT oil. How can that help me sleep deeper? How can that help me get the day started off right in my coffee and my shake? We also do things with our, we have a lot of great supplements, but ours are potent and pure in their third-party testing. So our Vital Magnesium. Magnesium is so good for stress, because stress and sugar cause the body to need more magnesium. But the biggest thing we do is we work with our natural hormone balancing creams. So as we said, putting in a little bit of natural plant-based progesterone, you just put it right on the arm, rub it in, and we do a little hormone assessment to see if you need it. Well, guess what? 99% of women in America need it in a modern society, because they have PMS or they have menopausal symptoms or perimenopausal symptoms, and all that means you're lacking in progesterone and you're estrogen dominant. And that's what I showed you on that board a little bit earlier. But we don't just do that, because I can use progesterone, pour it in the bucket, right? But then there's a hole in the bucket and the stress causes it to keep coming out. But at BeBalanced, we have a 1-2 punch, right? We use our Sue Stress Cream. And that cream, transdermal, goes right into the bloodstream. Don't have to eat a pill and hope it gets there, right? This uses the herb maca, the adaptogenic herb maca in this cream, and that goes directly in the bloodstream, and it helps the poor adrenal gland rebuild. But then it also has some pre-hormones in it, like DHEA, pregnenolone. You don't have to worry about them. They're natural. And what that does is gives the body the building blocks to make cortisol, so the body doesn't have to rob your progesterone. So at BeBalanced, you can come in. We do a free assessment. We can go over this with you. We're experts in stress and balancing hormones and weight loss and PMS and menopausal symptoms. But coming in for free consultation can help. But if someone can't, natural progesterone, it's good to go to a professional, but you want to make sure it's natural. It is not what's in the birth control pill. It is not what is in synthetic HRT. And when you go for bioidentical HRT, they tend to give you estrogen, testosterone, which are riskier, and progesterone. We just work with progesterone, and we guarantee you everything else will balance out. So that gives you a little bit on what stress is, because it's a lot broader. And even the people that say they have no stress, it's not true. They have childhood issues. They have self-esteem issues. I mean, they are under artificial light and have cell phones. So really everybody has stress. It's managing it. So hopefully some of these tips I gave you today can help. But what we'd really love for you to do is come into BeBalanced or do a virtual appointment. We give a free consultation. We'll explain more about your stress and how it's affecting all your weight, mood, sleep issues, your PMS, your menopausal issues, and then give you solutions. We have a full weight loss program that encompasses everything, and you use these creams afterwards. Or if you're a young college girl, a teenage girl, if you bring your parent in, if you're under 18, we can help you, and your very next menstrual cycle is better, because stress impacts the menstrual cycle as well. That's why women have longer cycles. That's why women have PCOS, infertility. It's all related to stress. So hopefully you enjoyed this video, and hopefully you'll like and subscribe for a lot more tips about your whole lifestyle. But stress is important, and if we manage it correctly, it can be a really good part of life and help us grow and push and evolve. Thanks for watching.